everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you just so happen to be joining me for the very first time, thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Donella, and of course this is my world of beauty here on YouTube. Now for this week's video, I am going to be doing a part 2 of my last upload, and this is more specifically going to be focused on my full coverage girls. Now I know I have a couple of friends, subscribers, and persons that I interact with that are full coverage girls. They love the full coverage makeup look, and they say, hey, if you have one of those summer makeup look that you can actually film, and it's more so focused on us who like the full coverage look, then please do so. So I got you. If you are interested in seeing how I do my full coverage makeup look for this summer heat, then please stay tuned. I know I am probably watching me and saying, well, why you look like you started your makeup and you forget what's going on here. I did, but I wanted to do my eye makeup first because I really wanted the focus of this video to be more on the application of the complexion products. So I started doing my eyes, and then I was like, you know what, I have a tendency of doing starting something and then forgetting that I need to turn the camera on, and I just might go through and do the entire process and forget I need to film this part. So I turned the camera on while I was in the middle of doing this. So this is why I'm looking like this right now. Okay, so I just want to pause the eye makeup for a bit, and let's go on and let's focus on prepping the skin and getting it ready for the actual makeup application. This video I'm going to be using mostly two of everything. I'm going to be using two primers, one foundation, two concealers, two translucent powders, one setting overall face powder, and I think I'm going to be using I'm definitely going to be using two setting sprays. So if you guys see me going and use two of certain products, it's really because yeah, you are going to need these two in certain things that you're doing. You're going to need two of something. If you don't have two of, say for instance you only have one primer that you like, or maybe you just can't afford it, I understand that as well. Just make sure that you go in with a double layer, meaning that you apply some, let it dry down, and then apply another bit over it. Okay, so that's also another solution. So for this video I'm going to be using two primers. One is my handy dandy Hydro Grip primer from Milk Makeup, and then this one from Maybelline, which is the Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser primer. So this one is really for longevity, and this one is just to conceal my very large pores. So let's go in with that. Now, the trick to using these two primers, because they both have different consistencies, I like to just go in with the milk primer first and then allow it to dry down for maybe a minute. And then once I feel like the skin is a bit tacky, like I can tell that's when, you know, the Hydro Grip is activated and it's ready, that's when I go in with this one, which is the Baby Skin Pore Eraser primer. This one is from Maybelline, and I don't necessarily put it all over my my face. I more focus on the areas where I have my lash pores, which is in the T-zone area. So that bit of primer is going to be focused right here. Take the excess and maybe just tap it around, because we don't want to waste anything like this. And this is guava crop, we're not wasting anything. So if there's a little bit of excess, if you like you squeeze out too much or you pump out too much, then tap it on your skin, baby. Tap it, don't waste it, tap it. Okay, so I had to give the Maybelline concealer maybe about a minute and a half to dry down, because the consistency of this, if you've ever used this Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Eraser primer, is that it has a bit of a gel-like finish and consistency, which can be quite putting off to some persons. Maybe some persons might be like, oh, I don't really like the consistency of this, it just feels like my makeup is going to slide off. But if you know how to use your products and how to apply them in terms of layering, then even though it may not have the best consistency, you could make it work for you depending on how you apply it. So I like to just give this a little extra time to dry down. Even now that I'm talking, I'm still giving it a little extra time to dry down, and I'm just going to go in with one of my powder puffs and just press it, really press it into the skin. And this is just an extra step for me, because I don't want it to have my makeup sliding all over, and I really want it to settle into the skin, so I'm just going to use this powder puff to press it in. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with one of my favorite concealers, which is this one from Too Faced. I used it in my last video. Yeah, Sable and Spice Rum. So for this video I'm just going to be going in with Spice Rum. So I'm going to take a bit of Spice Rum, and for those of you who've been watching me for some time now, I don't go directly underneath my eye. I tend to just start from just right here by my nostrils and then work my way up. That's just because I feel like for me, I don't want any creasing or any settling of excess concealer in anything underneath there, so I like to just use the wand like right down there by my nostril and then bring it up. So if there's any excess concealer, it doesn't like settle underneath my eye and cause any creasing or anything like that. So I'm just going to not just apply the concealer in the areas where I want to conceal, right around here, and I'm just going to allow this to dry down for like a minute. Let it do what it do what it do, and then while it's doing what it's doing, let me look for foundation. Let me look. Baby, I don't have full coverage foundations, do I? If I do, maybe it probably might be one or two. The majority of my concealers are light to medium coverage. So while this is drying down, let me find a foundation that can work for this. Okay, and while we have I found a foundation, let me just blend this out real quick because we don't want her to dry down too much. It's wanted to dry down to have that nice tacky feeling, to give me the extra coverage that I need. And in most cases, I know some persons like to apply their foundation before they apply their concealer, but because I'm not a full coverage girl and I don't like the heavy feeling of a full coverage foundation, I like to do this step in terms of using my concealer first. In that way I use less foundation. Okay, so just as I suspected, I don't necessarily have any full coverage foundation besides this one from YSL. This is the All Hours foundation, but during the summertime I tend to just get a little bit darker, so this will not work because I tried it, must be last week, sometime last week while I was doing the test run, baby. So we've settled on my Maybelline Fit Me, and this I actually thought I purchased Warm Coconut, which is like a hair darker than coconut, and it's still on the golden side as well, but it's just like a hair darker. But I bought coconut, and this one is in the matte Poreless, and for some reason it actually worked. It worked because I tried it out. So I'm just going to be using just this bit that's on the back of my hand. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to use all of it because of all the concealer I have on my face right now, but we're going to try at least with the stippling brush to try to at least use most of it. So I'm going to just press that into, I'm going to stipple it on. Yeah, stipple it on. And then press it in. So that, yeah, it's actually really beautiful. This Maybelline foundation and the Too Faced concealer actually looks really beautiful together. Ooh. Ooh, the blend is nice. I don't know if it's the stippling brush, but the blend is nice. The blend is really nice. I like that. And I'm going to try to make sure I cover the areas because I'm not really a full coverage girl, but I'm here doing a full coverage look just for my full coverage girls. And I'm not going to put a lot of foundation on my forehead. Yeah, that is just not me. I tend to just use the excess that's on the brush and just press that into my skin. Listen, my foot, when I do this, right, you can see all my big head. Not big head, big butt. But anyway, I'm trying to use I don't want to waste this foundation, so I'm just going to just use the excess around here and then just pat the rest in. Ooh. and then just pat the rest in on my forehead so we don't waste it. Alright. Why am I making that stupid, creepy? Oh, remember the horror film with the little girl coming out of the well? Was it The Ring? Yeah, I don't know why I'm making that. I started applying this, and I forgot I needed to talk. But yeah, I'm using a second concealer. Just like I told you, I'm going to be going in with 2 concealers. So I mean, this one is actually a NARS concealer. This is fits in the full coverage category. This one is a shade that I normally use from time to time. I just don't know if it's Amande or Amande. Baby, I don't know. I never know how you pronounce that. Okay, but I'm just going to go in real quick, and I am going to press this. Start spreading it out. Start spreading this baby out. Yes, ma'am. Just in the areas where I would have applied it, right here, right here. And right after we are done with that, I'm going to go in with my first setting spray. Yes, I'm going to go in with my first setting spray, and I'm going to go in with this one from NYX. This is the matte finish makeup setting spray from NYX. It's this one right here. So I'm going to go in and just spray. Baby, where is it? Not okay. And just spray this all over my face. And that's enough. And while it's wet and it's drying down, right? This is something that I practice. While it's wet and you feel it like drying down, this is actually the best time that you just get your translucent powder ready. I'm going to be going in with this one from Fenty. I'm using the shade Honey, and you could feel it drying down, so you must know when it's time for you to just open up the Fenty powder, or I don't know, your Sacha Buttercup powder, or your whichever powder, your Beauty Bakery powder, I don't know, your Black Opal powder, baby, I don't know, whichever one, your Huda Beauty powder, whichever one it is, and just start. Ooh, I think I need to just go in just a little bit more with this sponge, just one more time, because I'm seeing that this second application of concealer wasn't completely blended out. Or maybe I just needed to just tap it in just a little bit more, just because I applied that setting spray. Maybe some things might just look a little bit too dewy for me, and I need it to settle down. Just tap back in, and then I'm just going to go in with my powder puff and apply my Fenty powder. And baby, look at that. Just look at that. She is set. She's set. She's set, baby. She's set. And then you see all the dewiness, right? And then you just go in with the translucent powder, and there she is. All of the dewiness, she is gone. And for this second layer of translucent powder, this is the one that I will be using for baking. I know I don't really bake it, but yeah, for my for my full coverage goods, I'm out here doing things I don't usually do, just for you. Okay, so I have my one size. Baby. I have my one size, and I'm just dipping in on the second side. Well, on the other side, my left side, not the second side. What am I saying? I'm just making sure that I apply that in the areas where I need to apply, because I will be leaving this on to bake for a little bit. Unless, you know what, because I feel like my eyes looking a little bit crazy, let's go back to finishing the eyes. Donella. Yeah, let's do that, because you're looking a little crazy on camera right now. So let's go back to finishing the eyes while this is baking. Okay? Alright, so by the way, right, while I'm here finishing the rest of my eye makeup, I have this, well, let me put the pencil up. I have this pencil here from Rare Beauty, right? And it is called the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Eyeliner Gel, right? And I kept the box, even though it look a little rusty. I kept the box, right, just because I needed to remember the name of this, because, you know, I believe the name on this will probably fade. Actually, it done fade. You could probably just see the word Rare Beauty there. That's the only thing that's left. But I kept the box. The only thing I don't like is that the packaging is a white thing, and you know, white, and it's a black pencil. Baby, this is how she looking. But this glides on so perfectly. Like, let me show you. Like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do much. This look at that. I'm just going back and forth. Baby, look at the glide on that. Look at the glide on that. Selena Gomez, tens across the board, baby. Tens across the board. Okay, so I'm almost done, but I feel like I need to start pressing in this one size powder, and I'm using my beauty blender to do this. For those of you who have been watching me for some time, you guys know that I've switched to using a powder puff, but for this process, or for this application, or for this makeup look, I should say, I am using my beauty blender to press in the excess powder. And then I want to just move on to focusing on my contour. So for this look, I am going to be using one of my favorite sticks from Black Opal. Yes, she is rich, baby, she is rich, so you have to be very careful if you're using this shade. You decide to use this shade. If you're my shade, you decide to use this shade, baby, be careful. She is rich. She has some body on her. This one is the shade Java Dream. Java Dream, did I say that right? And she is rich. Like, she is rich like this, okay? Okay, she's very rich. So I'm just going to use that as my contour cream. And because she's so rich, you have to be careful. Oh my God. You know what I do? I went in too much. I went in with too much. So I'm going to have to be doing some blending here. So stay with me, stay with me. So I'm just going to start turning my brush this way and then blending it upwards, so we could start to blend it outwards. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, she's rich. She is very, very rich. So for this, I actually know how to pull back some of the richness on this, because it's happened before. Sometimes I tend to go a little bit crazy and forget that Java Dream has a little bit of body on her. It's happened before. So I have to just blend this out first, back and forth, and then upwards, and then back to my hairline, and then, you know, just back and forth, just to make sure that we blend this out so it isn't too rich or too thick. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I'm going to go in with the same brush that I used, the stippling brush that I used to apply my foundation, and just use the excess foundation that's on there to also try to lighten a bit of Java Dream, because it's going to look slightly muddy if I don't do that. It's gonna look slightly muddy, so I have to try to blend out as much as I can, but you don't want it to just disappear. You still want that nice sculpted contour look. So I'm going to go in with that, leave that there. Then I'm going to go in with my handy dandy Fenty Mocha Mami. I love the shade Mocha Mami. I feel like I could just buy, if I could buy 12 of these, meaning one for each month of the year, I would. Trust me, I would. But we are in some very different times, so we're gonna have to work with the one that we have, all right, and make it work for the remaining 11 months. All right, okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of Mocha Mami over Java Dream, just so I can give it that, I can lighten it a little bit, but at the same time give it a nice pop of warmth. So I'm just going to just add that there. And add some right here, almost like we're creating like a letter E. Like a letter E. Just gonna go downwards. I'm just doing this back and forth as many times as possible, just so you make sure that it's nice and blended and it doesn't look too crazy. Now I'm going to go back to my eyes. Back. Eyes are done for now, and I'm going to go in with my second coating of, or my second setting spray, I should say. And this. Okay, so now after we've done that, because we want this makeup look to really last, this is basically the final step that I do. I'm going to go in last with a all over face setting powder, and I'm going to go in with this one from Pat McGrath. The name here gone, but it's still showing here. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfecting Setting Powder. This one is in the shade Medium Deep 4. Now, first of all, do not go look at the price of this Pat McGrath powder, okay? Just saying. Now, if you have an all over setting face powder that works well with your complexion, this one works really well with my complexion, you can use that. You don't necessarily have to go and look for the Pat McGrath Lab. Please do not look up the price of this Pat McGrath Lab setting powder if you want to have pat palpitations. Okay, so it's a really thin milled setting powder, and it has brown color, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to take this fluffy brush and I'm just going to dab just this much, and because it's so finely milled, you won't necessarily need another dab inside. Well, it depends. Let's just see. I like to just take it and just press it all over my skin, all over, like press it all over. You don't necessarily need to go in a second time. If you think you need to, that's fine, but for me, I just take one good amount on the fluffy brush and I don't need a second application. All right, so I am black. Oh, yes, I am black, but I am back. I am back, and this is the completed look. Now, with the second application of the setting spray, I normally do that. For those of you who've been watching me for some time, you guys know that I do have oily skin. Yes, my skin type is oily, so I always have to make sure I lock that baby in, lock it back in with just extra read all about, well, not read all about it, with some extra setting spray. So if you do intend to do this makeup application step by step, just be sure, if you don't have a second setting spray, if you don't have like a number of setting sprays like me and you just have one, that's fine. Just be sure that when you spray it over your concealer and your foundation for the first application, and then you apply your translucent powders and setting powders, etc., be sure to lock that baby in with a second dose of that setting spray. That's just to make sure that everything is locked in like that, and you get the most out of your makeup when you apply just a second dose of it. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Especially if you carry oily skin like me, don't play around with your makeup. Don't let's play it off, okay? Lock it in with an extra set of setting spray, okay? Okay, ladies and gents, that is it for this week's upload. I am hoping that you guys may have learned a thing or two. If you did, or if you did, that's great. If you if you did, that's great. And if you happen to have enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up on your way out. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please be sure to click the subscribe button on your way out. Thank you guys so much for being here with me, and I'll talk to you real soon on my next upload. Bye.